Well, here goes absolutely fucking nothing. No, I'm joking. Hey guys, I don't post on YouTube. I feel like it's a bit more personal than any other form of social media that I do. Sorry in advance for the accent switches. You know, I'm by myself talking, so it's probably gonna happen quite a lot. Welcome to my inner monologue. All jokes aside, I've asked you guys like a million times questions. I'm gonna do a YouTube video, questions, I'm gonna do a YouTube video, and then life is just like, actually, no, you're not. Part of it is laziness. Part of it is a fear of being slightly more vulnerable. Yeah, slightly more vulnerable, isn't it? This feels a bit more personal, isn't it? But yeah, no, I've gone through this so many times, and then I just never have. So I thought I'd answer some of your questions and give y'all a little Q&A, you know? The first question, let's start with something obvious, I guess. Am I neurodivergent? The answer is yes. So when I was in year 10, late year 10 or like early year 11, I don't even remember now, I was diagnosed with severe ADHD. So from when I joined in year 7, I had one teacher called, and I'm going to remind myself to talk a bit slower. Slow down. I just want to get to know you. I had a teacher that was maths and P for me, and she told me instantly, so you've been diagnosed? And I was there 11, like, with what, like what are you talking about? Like? And she was like, no, you've definitely got ADHD, that's not even a thing. So I went home and I was like, Mom, Dad, I'm special needs. And my dad was like, yeah, we can, you know, sure we can figure it out. Mum was like, no, you're not, you're fine. And that's no hate to Mumsy, obviously that just happens because I get it from my mom. So it comes with masking, and it's much more common in women. So obviously she's gone her whole life, she would have been like late 40s or something. What is this, 12 years ago? Yeah, she would have been like mid 40s. And I've gone home and been like, hey Mom, like I'm special needs. How do you feel? She's got two other kids, 10 years older than me, 8 years older than me. They've never said nothing. I'm sure it was like implied, but they went to schools that was a bit worse than mine. So no one ever really cared for picking up on these things. I'm just lucky that I had that teacher that's my ride or die. I still speak to her to this day. Love her. Okay, look at how dragged on this is already. It's not that dragged on. Relax, you're okay, you're doing fine. But yeah, so when you go on masking for so long, my mom's just thinking, you're fine, like if I'm fine, you're fine. And it's really normal that happens. And then there was also the side of it where it's really expensive to get tested, and the waiting list for CAMS was just ridiculous. So that wasn't a thing. Push past year 7, 8, 9, whatever. She was the only teacher that treated me as if I had it. She would give me like the special colour paper, a bit of extra time, help me, sit with me after class and things like that, which I really appreciated. And it will never be forgotten. It'll never be forgotten, Maria. I love you. And so does my family. By the time I was in year 11, my mum had started to make a bit more money as well. So she was like, you got your GCSEs, whatever, we'll get you tested, do you know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, I got tested. Severe ADHD comes out in different ways. I reckon I'll make that like a separate video. Sunflower lanyard and different things like that, because I feel like it's quite a big topic to just touch on amongst a million other questions. But yeah, I got diagnosed, and then my little brother got diagnosed, then my mom got diagnosed, and then my 2 older brothers got diagnosed, and we all hold hands. Second question, what is my foot size? Let's keep it light, playful, and fun. About an 8.5. I'll be honest with you, I'll give you a little story time because it's funny. I can't even believe I'm sharing this. Me at 18 years old, I used to cry about this. I remember crying to my mom, why am I so fucking big, lad? Why am I so big, lad? I don't like this. And now I'm more there. They got nothing on you, baby. Nothing. I was in Paris with my friends, and I was like, do you know what, let me just put my foot in the, you know, the foot scale, foot measure, because I hadn't done that since I was 8 years old. So I was like, let me do that. Put my foot in. My 3 small toes, size 8. My big toe, 9. My second toe, took my foot off there so quickly. I said, I'm good with an 8.5, you know, like I'm actually good. But my second toe is permanently bent, mental. And if you want my height, I'll throw it in there, 5'11". But I met some people that are like, no, I'm 6 foot, you're 5'11". And then other people that's like, I'm 5'11", you're 6 foot. So I guess we'll never know. Unless I get a measuring tape, and then we'll know in literally 5 seconds. How did you make social anxiety scared of you? Now that's a very good question. I feel like me personally, I've never really had that. I'll be so serious that from a very young age, even as like a child, I remember a story time my mom told me. We was on the Piccadilly line one time going away on the Piccadilly line. Leicester Square was a vibe. No, we're going on the Piccadilly line. I must have been 7 or something like that. and I sat down opposite my mum. She's with her best friend. I opened my legs now and I just sat like this. Spread, which is so sad. Babe, look after yourself like you're a child. But I was just like, open my legs. My mum's jumped up like, slammed my legs shut. I was like, why are you doing all of that? She was like, if I close your legs, you're on the train. And I'm here like, and you all got one. We all fucking, do we not all fucking have one? Anyway, I'm a firm believer in we should all be naked and that clothes are literally like the biggest thing. But the biggest thing, I'm gonna try not to fidget too much, sorry. I'm a firm believer in that our clothes, I'm just trying so much shit. Shut up and move on. My favourite day and why. My favourite day is Sunday, period. I love waking up. I like walking my dog. I like having my little, I want a Sunday. My set Sunday is wake up, walk my dog, have fun, whatever. Then in the evening, I always do yoga and go to the spa. So yoga's either at 6 or 7. Then I go to the spa for the evening. Come home, cook something, or I won't lie, little takeaway. What are you barking at? They don't want you. Stop barking. He's so annoying. He's so annoying. He's so annoying. He's so annoying. Miru, no one's coming for you. He hears any sound from outside and he's like, this is my family. My family. I'm just going to bring him in actually. Sorry, don't watch that. Hold on. What, baby? What is it? Listen, actually, where am I? I'm a light incense. Sorry, guys. How unprofessional of me. Laddie, what you having barking was? You blow it out. I'm joking. You don't know how to do anything. You're a Pomeranian. Poms are really dumb, guys. They're really, really dumb. This is me. This is my dog. Oh, look at. Anyway, where the hell was I? How do you make social anxiety scared of you? Yes. So, as I said, it's never really been a thing for me, but key tips just to keep it quick, fun, and light. You are in charge of your own life. You're born with yourself. You die with yourself. It's as simple as that. Other people's judgments, as long as you know your own morals, you know what comes with you, you understand your sense of self, what you stand for, your values, your politics, all of that. You take all of that into accountability and then you move with your life. Make yourself happy. You have to understand things that you've gone through. Always question yourself. Never stop asking questions. Stay curious. I think that's been a big part of my life from a very young age. It was don't ask too many questions. No, fuck that. Ask every question that you want to ask. Never stop asking questions. Never stop being curious. Never stop exploring. And at the end of the day, as long as you hold self-respect for what you view that as long as you hold yourself to your own morals and your own standards, no one else's, not a single person on this planet thinks or looks or talks the exact same way. Not a single one. So mind your business. Live your life. Live for you. What makes you happy? What fulfills you? What's going to make you feel good? And move off of that. And a massive thing, this is probably actually the number one thing for this, don't judge other people. I mean that in every way. You can take that in a religious way. You can't look at someone else. Like one of the biggest sins is to tell someone else when they're sinning or where they're going wrong, right? Or what their comeuppance is going to be for what's going on with themselves. Mind your own business. Don't look at someone else and judge other people. Don't scroll and think, oh, she's so fat or he's so this. Fuck, like, why are you doing that? You gain nothing from that. And everything that you're speaking, that's energy that you're putting out there. You might think you're putting it out there to someone else. Oh, she's a fucking bitch. You're putting it out there to someone who's rebounding straight back to you, babe. Straight back to you. Like, there's a difference between constructive criticism and correcting yourself, and always stay growing within yourself. Like, always know you've got different things that you can do, places you can go within your mentality, within your soul, within your spirit, everything. But never make the point of your life to be a hater. And I know a lot of people find it funny. You might think it's banter. We're all prone to being toxic at times, but the only person it affects is you. And I'll leave with that. I will leave with that. But that's real. That's very, very real. And then I guess for like a basic one of like when you guys ask me, how did you do that in public? I ain't never going to see these people again. When I see someone moving like that in public, I get so happy. I'm like, if I see someone singing or if I see someone playing guitar or someone just expressing themselves, dancing, speak, like whatever they're doing, it makes me so happy. Like I see them, I'm like, serotonin beast, there's good people in the world, you know? So when I'm doing it, I'm like, if you're going to look at me and be like, what are you doing? You're nuts. Live yours. I'm having fun. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm actually having fun. I'm having fun, babe. And what's the worst it's going to do? You're going to look at me and think I'm ugly. Well, I think I'm buff, so what now? Be your own biggest fan. And it's not about being cocky. There's confidence in this cockiness. You have to be your number one fan. Period. what books have I read and what are my favourite ones? So I've read quite a lot. I have loads, like loads and loads and loads. But the first book I ever finished, I was the kid that skim read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like ran into my little brother's room, ran back to my dad, Dad, I finished the book, I finished the book, I finished the book. And he's looking at me like, in 5 minutes? And I'm like, He knows I couldn't read. But the first book I ever read in my life was The Miracle Morning. I finished it. Amazing book, especially if you struggle with a morning routine or structure or how to just organize your life. I think I read it in a time when I was in a bit of a crossroads. At the point in time when I found the book, I wasn't making any sort of money from anything. Of course, by this point, my mum had done her thing, so I know that I'm good and I'm safe, but I don't want to live off my mum and is stressed. My mum is like the provider for so many people's financial lives and financial stabilities, therefore emotional stabilities and mental health and all of that. So I knew I don't want to bum ride off the back of that. Like, she's done an amazing job, I could do the exact same thing. And I think I read it in a time where I was making content. It was 2022, so I've been making content for like 2 years, but never like seriously. I didn't think this is like money. Like, I get like a £20 sound promo and I'm like, £20, you know. And I was lifeguarding for a bit, I was PTing for a bit, but when I say I was lifeguarding, anyone that worked with me at Virgin Active Fulham was going to laugh at that. Lord knows I went to 6 shifts max. 6 max. And I would sit on poolside like, anyone got the early cut off? Anyone want to sort with me? I couldn't do it. I actually couldn't do it. It wasn't happening. But I like that idea of it. Lifeguard. Anyway, so I'm comfortable, but like I'm still not comfortable with knowing that pressure's on my mom because it doesn't come from a generational line. So I'm like, I want to do this for myself. And I was going to the gym, but my skin was really bad. I wasn't necessarily eating the best. I wasn't cooking never. So I think I just found that book at a time where it provided me with structure, and I enjoyed being like, okay, I'm going to read this in the morning, then I'm going to read this in the night, I'm going to go to the sauna, I'm going to read it there. I really enjoyed that. So that one, God, was that a 5-minute speech per book? This video is going to be long. Sorry in advance. Is it too late now to say sorry? Why am I apologizing? You're here watching me. I got too many voices in my head. Anyway, another book I've read. I read the other habit one. Oh, come on, you've got this. Atomic Habits. I kind of felt like that was just like a big worded version of Miracle Morning. I preferred Miracle Morning. Did I do really well in school? Absolutely not. Was I chilling? Yeah. So maybe for a bit more, if your IQ is maybe slightly higher than mine. Not in emotional intelligence. I'm a very smart babe. But academically, I'm not all there. I'll be super honest with you guys. I'm not all there. So I didn't really like that book. I was like searching words and being like, okay, but why don't you just say it was this word instead of that word? Like, why haven't you used big words? And as I said, I already read Miracle Morning. It felt like a longer, more dragged out version of that for me personally. I'm reading All About Love right now by Bell Hooks. I'm enjoying that. I love a little psychological book. In 1,000 different ways, let me not forget that. The only storytime book I've ever read in 1,000 different ways. It's about, you go read the blurb. That's probably my favourite book I've read. What's the only book I've read? Stop your mind from moving so fast. And no, I will not go on medication. That's another video. If I don't, remember to like comment, remind me and comment. I need to speak about medication and what it does to your mind alongside that sunflower lanyard video with the ADHD video, and we'll deal with that separately. In relationships, and oh god, yeah, this can be a good video. I'm in my YouTube bag. That's my favourite storybook, period. So good. So intellectual, because even though it's a storybook, you're still taken away from it in different parts of life. Anyway, I fucked with that book. And then any other books I have on my shelf that I think are worth reading, that I've only read about 3 chapters of, I'll put right here. Done. Okay. When did I start taking social media seriously? So, well, let me answer. Am I a nepo baby? In short, no. Dumb, but it's funny, whatever. When has a newspaper ever told the truth? You know, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. Okay, I'll give you like a quick breakdown without giving a TMI. Maybe it's easier to go for my 2 older brothers. So I'm one of 4. I've got 2 older brothers, 10 years older than me, 8 years older than me, 2 years younger than me. My mom had the first one at 22, and then at 24, and then me at 32, and Max at 35. When my mum and my dad had the first 2 set, my mum was in retail, so like shop floor and waitressing, and my dad was working in NatWest just at like the bank. And then when she was pregnant with me, my mum was a UK sales manager at Chantecaille and a facialist. So now fast forward, my little brother's born, I'm 2, and my mum and my dad are like, look, let's make this make sense. And I think at this point my dad was working in the NHS somewhere, like council or something to do with NHS. Cool. Now, fast forward, my little brother's born. My dad's like, look, I can stay home and look after them. You know, you can do this. Like, you've got this. Basic. Mom's like, I know I've got this. Like, let me take this to the next level. So they decide that my dad's going to stay at home. My mom's going to go to work. Their upbringings in terms of themselves. My mom's been working since she was 15 years old. She did her O-levels. Neither of them went to uni. My dad had a more of a difficult life. Obviously, he was raised like lower working class. He's one of 6 with a single mum. So shout out to my nan every time. Shout out to my nan. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so in terms of like positions of mentality and just what they were on, my mom was about it and my dad was like, I've got the kids, I could do this, you get what I'm saying? By 2010, my mom started her blog. So she's a manager at Shontakai and she's she's a facialist, so she's just a skincare specialist. If there's one thing my mom did, it's locked in, baby. She locked in. Go mom, shout out to you, I love you. Thank you, well done. Yeah, so then by the time I'm in year 7, it was quite complicated for me because I think I went from being, obviously I was raised in a council flat. I weren't in an estate, but I was right next to all of the estates in still like a block of flats. And then I've gone from being in primary school, not thinking about money, obviously, unless I'm in like the playground. And then you've got like the rich babes. And my dad's like, fucking rich over that. And I'm like, you're telling me, I hate that girl. But I was just jealous because they would come back with ski and tans and I didn't go on holiday till I was 11. I was chilling. I wasn't up. I was chilling. And then by the time I joined secondary school, I started to see more wealth and bigger wealth because you start to talk to people that's outside of what you already know. I remember being in year 7 and my friend was like to me, Amy, you can't say bruv. Like, bruv's not a word. And I remember being sat there like, bruv ain't no word. I haven't got this. So like, it's so dumb, isn't it? But everyone, it's just how you mix with different people. So I went to state school for both primary and secondary. I never went to private school. But then I was in a different circle of people where it's like proper old generational money and obviously the politics is completely different to mine. Simultaneously, I know I come from working class. I know my entire family that I'm around, been around my whole life, is all working class and lives that life. Like, my auntie's all Liberians, you know, everyone sounds like this and they work and they drive like, you know, NHS buses and everyone's lovely. And everyone's just really genuine people into now, like that's still me, but I'm getting a bit more comfortable because my mum's making more and more money because she started influencing. So it's like this weird kind of crossroads for me where I'm like, still know who my people are. It was just a very weird experience having the money to keep up with, like, oh, we can all go to Westwood together, like go Victoria's Secret and I can keep up with that. No, not that I'm not banned from there. Anyway, yeah, it just made me feel quite like vulnerable, I guess, in a certain sense, but it's weird because like I never lost my gratefulness for what I already come from, because it's not, bro, I don't come from absolutely nothing, do you get what I'm saying? But I don't come from bread and millions and nepotism. And then I remember one time I brought one of the girls to my house and as we was leaving, she was like, yeah, like your flat is like so nice, like to my mum. And I was sat on the floor like stroking my cat at the time, putting my shoes on, like, and she's gone to leave. My mum's like, let's see later. And I've gone to leave. My mum's like, if I come back here, I was like, I came back in, she closed the door, she's like, yeah, bring that fucking bitch to my house again, oh fuck. I was like, Roger that. Yes, mom. And was she right? Was she right? Because that's the same babe I was on Snapchat with, having Snapchat wars. Your political vote should be about everyone. And she was like, yeah, but like David Cameron's got my vote. And I remember she literally sent me a Snapchat selfie like this. I was like, David Cameron's got my vote. And I was thinking, no, this is different. So that's when I started to kind of transition into a different sort of sense of self, because I'm like, okay, no, our morals don't align. And then I remember being in like I think it was a geography class or something like that. And we was going around like, oh, what does everyone's parents do? Obviously you have like mixture of nurse, NHS, doctor, this, or like unemployed or lawyer, big lawyer. And I was there like, my mum's a YouTuber. And I remember being so embarrassed about it. But it's because influencing wasn't a thing at the time. So it's like, my dad don't work. So it's already like but what's that, male, female? And like, how does that work? So you already have that societal shift of gender judgment. I think I said that right. And in the same breath, it's like, I don't want you guys to go look up my mum who's like reviewing Superdrug products in her bedroom, like all of us are upstairs. Like, I don't even want you lot to be doing that. And it's like, I hate that I let myself get embarrassed over that, because what the hell? And that's why I'll never be embarrassed now. Yeah, time's gone on. I got to like 15, 16. By the time I was in year 11, honestly, guys, I had a drug problem. I was in a really dark place. It was probably the darkest I've ever been in, is 16 to 18. Just a transitional period of my life. I'm going through puberty. My mom's going through menopause. My dad's the one that's at home. He's got 3 other kids to look after. Everything's complicated. We're in this weird swing now of like, my mom's starting to make it, but now everyone's down to public opinion. Like, babe, my mom, my whole like childhood has been on towel since I was in like a teenager. Like, I've dealt with like watching my mom be there crying over like people calling her fat and saying whatever they're saying about her. But then I've also seen the pros of her crying because she saved lives, because she's found like lumps on people's necks. My mom's a superhero, bro. I don't give a fuck. So it was weird for me because, as I said, I've gone from being working class, like standard, like chilling kid, to now my mom's doing really well and it's starting to like really take off. And it's kind of like, where do I go in this? Because I've just gone through a very normal standard childhood. You're doing what you're doing, going to Tesco on the way home, seeing your family, seeing your nan, seeing your friends on the estate, chilling, playing park, going home, into like teenager, really trying to be a part of this, like, yes, old money life, drugs, sex, like da. And it's just a whole bunch of confusion, really. I think teenage years are really, really difficult. And then on top of all of that, because I got diagnosed really late, what does ADHD mean? What effects does it have? And I feel like it's really belittled. Obviously, still today, it's belittled, and it probably always will be anyway. Hopefully now, we'll try to make a change. Make a change! And then I remember I was 17 and I was just, honestly, all I was doing, being at the house, smoking weed, doing fucking nothing. My attendance in year 11 was 61%. I just about passed the GCSEs, and I honestly, if I didn't have my own room and I didn't have extra time, I probably wouldn't have passed any of them. I was high for every single one of them, off weed, hash, whatever. God, I was a mess. I had Anastasia dip brows. I was a mess. And then I got into an emotionally abuse. Again, this is so off nepotism now, but this is just this is my life story. Welcome to my TED Talk. But I was in an emotionally and physically abusive relationship from 16 till about just before my 18th birthday. Over that time, fuckery had occurred. When I was 17, I was raped. We love it. It's so much fun here. I think I'm coming to accept certain things that may have happened to me when I was younger as well, with someone that's very booky. So there's a lot of weirdness there. And then again, you know what? We're just going to embrace the TMI. Do, this will help someone else. Do, this will help someone else. Do. Sorry, you didn't need that. You're fine, you're chilling. And then, yeah, my mum basically just looked at me. I was 17. She said, coming home every day, arguing. My mum's never smoked, touched a drug in her life, like in her whole life. Like, she'll drink here and there, never had problems with nothing. She's been working since 15, moved out to London by herself at 17. My mum's a good. She's done her thing, yeah. I'm here now fighting like the addiction gene, being like, I'm just smoking like man, my business, like really going down a dodgy path. And my mum's like, listen, if you're not going to do nothing, you're going to jump on what I'm doing. So you're going to go beauty therapy school. And I was like, you know what? I already know this shit. Yeah, you taught me that already. So fuck it. I went tell a lie. I tried to go to City of Westminster College first. So when I left school, I was like, cool, let me be a PT. Let me do sports or something. I did sports science at City of Westminster for like literally 4 weeks. I made one friend, shout out Dana. That was a vibe. We just smoked the whole time, bro. It was the most pointless thing ever. And I remember being there like, I don't want to be a PE teacher, so let me actually just not do this. So I dropped out, and that's when I was like, you have to do something. So I was like, cool. So I went beauty therapy school. That's the easiest thing I've ever done. Obviously, I've been around my mum since I was born, and she knows everything. So that was easy for me, and I enjoyed it too because I was around girls again. But now it's like a nicer mix of girls, like all different areas, all different lifestyles. It felt like there was much more exposure to realness rather than, yeah, you know, like, yeah. And my school, I didn't even really like that. As I said, it was just the girls I was interacting with, whether they was at private schools or different equivalents of like state schools. Like, it was just a very weird, like, confusing time. And of course, when I have 3 brothers as well, I've always been quite masculine. I'm obviously bisexual too, but I didn't really accept that until I was a bit older. So then to be around this and have the freedom, it was in Oxford Street, shout out London College of Beauty Therapy. If you're there now, back, get your level 2s, get your level 3s, get your level 4s and that. And then as that was coming to an end, I was like, do I do I think I did level 2 and 3, or I started level 3 and then I dropped out. I was like, I ain't gonna be no masseuse. So I was like, I'm done. I said, Mum, I'm done here. Dropped out of there. And then it was lockdown. Then in lockdown, that leads on to how did I start social media. Lockdown happened. By this time, yeah, we're all still living in the same flat at home. Again, I smoked a lot through it, but I started TikTok and I got my PT qualification. So I was like, I got to do some shit, man. I got to sort this out. You get what I'm saying? I got out of the abusive relationship. I got into a lot of other ones. I still hadn't processed that I was assaulted. So there was a lot going on with me mentally and emotionally in my spiritual realm. But I was unaware of it and just smoking it out, fogging it all out. Cool. This is going to be a long video. I'm kind of excited. Scared but excited. Vulnerable and good. How? Shut up. Carry on. Pretty on fleek. Now, No, it's kind of fun to do. It feels like therapeutic. It's not down, as I said, did my PT qualification, that was all online. A girl showed me a video and I was like, what's this TikTok? No, I don't have time for that. I was a Musically babe. Wait. So when TikTok came out, I was like, what's this? Like, fuck this. Like, this is for them youngers. This is for them youngers. My girl showed me, saw how many followers they had, and I was like, wait, how much are they making off of that? And they're not even as funny as me. So I said, fuck that, I'm going to start. So I started, and of course it started definitely from an egotistical place. I'm like, I want to go viral. And then eventually I was just like, no, let me just have fun with it actually. And I remember I did some roadman impressions, and that was the first video that blew for me. After that happened, I just kept on doing it because I was like, well, this is fucking funny, relatable, banter, do you get what I'm saying? So I kind of blended my reality of like teenage life and primary school life. So yeah, so when it came to making content, I was like, what's relatable? What do I know? I've been around, of course, all of these guys that's on that lifestyle. And then I had a lot of those girls, obviously, that I was trying to be just like and be around, and was like, oh my God, they're so cool. That all of these ones, you know, and then you grow up and you think, oh, actually, you're just a fucking cunt, you know what I'm saying, with no morals and no political sense. That quote me on that, Avery, 2025, October 10th, fucking hell. And now, of course, at this point, I've watched my mum. So after lockdown, then my mum had made enough money. Obviously, we don't need council flat no more. And she was like, I want to buy my house. So, and I won't talk too much on my mum's business and side of things, because that's her life, that's her story. And honestly, that's her privacy, you know? It's a lot of reasons why I won't go into TMI on too much about my dad and da-da-da-da-da. That's their lives, that's their privacy. But not for you to judge. I'm actually not sane. Yeah, and I just started making videos, and I have this comfortability as well. I was being stalked last year. Scary. I found a tracker in my car. Scary. What the hell? I was getting comments like about certain things that was evident as to where I live. I said, hey, ain't nobody got time for that. Anyway, I now know I have the security. I've not done drugs now since I was like 18, so I'm like, yay! So I haven't had no issues with that for like, well, that's a good 5, nearly 6 years. Mental. And yeah, but then obviously I struggled with coming to terms with the fact that I was, you know, assaulted and raped, and, you know, trying to process that. And I reported it to the police, and, you know, I had to wait 3.5 years for a trial, which is so much fun. In that time, you go through all these different phases. That is a whole video. I will make a whole other video on that, I promise you, and about the difference between accusations and being charged and what it does to your mentality, the different people that might come out and live in your mind because of certain things. Like, it's very, very scary. It's a very horrible thing to go through, and I'm sorry to anyone else that has had to go through, you know, stuff like that. It's very sad, but you will prosper. You will get through. Looping back to the question, are you a nepo baby? The practice among those with the power or influence of favouring relatives, friends or associates, especially by giving them jobs. In terms of security, like financially, of course, I have that financial stability now. So by the time I'm 18, 19, I know you've got me. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want you to have me, because you have to have everyone else that's around you. But I know that I'm safe. I know that I'm good. So I can take that sort of risk of, I'm just going to post and chill out and be a lifeguard for a bit and then do my PT qualification. But to be fair, I never stopped working at the same time. I never stopped making my content, I never stopped pushing myself, I never stopped going to the gym. But I had that privilege and that upper hand, of course, of knowing that I'm stable underneath it. So it's like I can take a risk. I never went to uni. That was never going to be a thing. I didn't even get the grades for sixth form. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not academic. Yeah, I just kept doing my thing, and our fan bases are completely separate. So obviously my mum's a grown woman. She's 57. We have a completely different demographic. So my mum's a beauty, skincare expert, and now she's showed it. She has her own brand, her own skincare line. In 2020, that's when her brand partner started talking about what can we actually do with this. So I've seen those pros from early of, like I spoke about earlier, with the positive reactions, that you're actually saving lives, you're making people's days, you're making them feel confident, alongside the negatives of having to listen to everyone's loudness on your life and who you are and what you should be like, which is a lot, but it outscales it completely. And that it also comes down to anxiety and social anxiety. What are you going to let win? Take that into your everyday life with everything that you do. I could get up and dance on this train. This one person might feel slightly uncomfortable or like might think I'm a dickhead, but then these 5 other people are like, woo, you just made my morning, let's go. That's why you have to have your own morals, your own moral compass, follow your own line, like your own line of confidence, what you want to do, your walk, you know, what are you know who you are, and then go off of that, move off of that. You will be true to who you are, and you will attract things that are true to you and your character. Yeah, man, I really just did my thing for a while. I was PTing for it as it was growing. It started to get bigger and bigger. I was like, okay, how can I switch this up? How can I do different things? So then I'm like, maybe I'll do a little lifestyle video. You know, maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll be more confident. And I just kept it true. I was just me. I've just been me this entire time. Another question I was asked, like, what am I doing for Palestine financially and not just publicly? Obviously I send money to certain organizations. I give like blood and beauty products, had people messaging me. I do a lot of stuff like behind closed doors because I don't want anyone to feel like it's performative, / I don't really feel like anyone needs to know what it is that I directly do. Like, I work with like a women's shelter as well, like a women's charity. I donate my clothes all the time. I do a lot of things that I just don't want to come across as performative, so I don't necessarily speak about, but I'm not hiding anything. Equally, I'm not like, you all have to do it as well, because not everyone is in my position. You know, like, I'm in a very privileged position now. And this hasn't been about like proving myself to no one, but I think the only thing that bothers me, anyone that wants to come and tell me who I am or what I'm doing or why I'm like this, I don't care. Like, this isn't for no one like that, because you want to hate, you want a reason to not like someone, do you get what I'm saying? And that's okay, that's your business, that's coming back to you, it's your energy, you don't affect me or mine. And I can also understand, like, if all you see is like this one thing, you know that my mom's breaded, you see that I'm white as well, you think, okay, well, that's who you are, why do you speak like this, where have you come from, like, what are you actually about? I can get it, and that's, I guess, the empath in me, that's just like, I understand. My friends get mad, my mom gets mad, you're not fucking nepo, you're not this and this, and I'm like, hey, it's calm, because that actually doesn't affect me what you lot think about me. But I guess this was more to just be a bit more vulnerable with people that actually do fuck with me, and then I didn't want anyone that truly does, or is like, to feel like blindsided or like, wait, what, like, is this relatability, is this a lie, like, what's going on, you know? So this is just for you guys. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, and I've been taking it very seriously for a while. I've been doing it for 5 years. I started in 2020. Serious money started coming 2024, and I'm flying. Thank you, and that's to all of you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. How are you physically, spiritually, and mentally? Physically, chilling. Like, I'm so good. I go to the gym all the time. I play sports all the time. I'm eating correctly. I'm looking after myself. Thank you for asking. Spiritually, amazing. I start my yoga teacher course next Saturday, actually. I've done yoga for a long time now, maybe like 3.5 years, maybe 4. And I really love my teacher a lot. And I was like, you know what, I want to learn more and more about myself, because I call her like, she's my Yoda. I say that to everybody. I just want to learn as much as I can, and hopefully one day just like run little retreats, but like, well, you guys don't have to like pay. So if I have anyone that's like watching me that's like really suffering or going through anything, I want to be able to be like, listen, I'm running this, book a fucking flight, I got you. Yeah, I was like, I want to be able to do that and help to give back in that sense too. And to just, even with information, like my yoga teacher Raki, she speaks and I'm like, I'm enlightened, I'm lifted. Like, it's amazing. Like, so it's amazing what it can do. Spiritually, chilling. Like, I'm clear. I had my court case already. I've done my PTSD therapy. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. So spiritually, I'm good. And mentally I'm chilling. There's a lot of stuff going on. And of course, it's hard sometimes to block out noise, because it can be very loud. And it's already loud. I have a million voices in my head, as you can already tell if you've got this far in the video. So, and thank you if you have. Yeah, there's a lot happening always, I think, like family wise, like we have different issues, my closest people, my friends, my loved ones, there's always stuff happening that's chaotic and a bit mad, but I guess everyone has that same thing, you know, we all go through different things. But yeah, it's been a lot recently. Maybe I'll talk about that some more at a later date, but all in all, out of 10, physically, spiritually and mentally put together, solid 7.7. We can't back down. There's too much at stake. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks for watching. Comment if you want to see any other YouTube videos. I feel like I've waffled, but I feel like some people might appreciate the waffling. And if you have ADHD, then I know you can bear to listen to me, and I know you can keep up with my thoughts. Can you keep up? Baby boy, let me lose my breath. Do you love me? Different videos I've got coming up for sure are makeup tutorials, my Accutane / like skincare journey. Probably a lot of much more deeper topics as well, like let that be politics and just life and abuse and all these different forms of addictions and problems. But I'll have a guest for those to keep me on track. But yeah, that's me. That's my dog. Bye. Thanks for watching. You know, thanks if you did them. Thank you. Goodbye. Do 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 do.